Hi and welcome to Blueberry Beetle Online Art School. My name's Meg. Today we're going to look at fixatives. There are lots of different varieties out there that we'll go through, and we'll also look at good fixative technique. Fixative is a spray that you put over your artwork to protect it. It puts a coating of basically superfine glue over your artwork so the material you use does not lift off or get smudged. You can also use it to set one material, then continue the artwork in another medium. Fixative can also help stop soft materials like pastels being knocked off the artwork and leaving dust inside the frame. Some artists apply it to the paper first instead to give it more tooth, that is, more to stick to. Basically, you're applying a superfine mist over your work to protect and set it, a bit like hairspray. In fact, you can use old-fashioned hairspray if you're in a bit of a bind. Just be sure to get a simpler type so you don't get a lot of other unexpected ingredients. Maybe ask to borrow your nan's. However, get proper fixative if you can, as they are especially designed for artwork. You can even get UV filtering fixatives that protect the colours while your artwork is hanging on a wall. And if you're selling your work, you owe it to your customers to protect the work the best way that you can. There are a few different types of fixatives available. The first type that you want to get familiar with is workable fixative. This is fixative that you can use to basically lock in some of your work and then continue on drawing. It stops the bottom layers from smudging while you finish the work. Just make sure that you always wait for it to dry and set before working on it again. Otherwise, the next drawing material may bleed or melt. The other type is permanent fixative, which can't be worked on. This is the fixative that you use at the end of the drawing in order to preserve it. Fixatives usually come in gloss and matte finishes, so you can choose if you'd like to give it extra shine. You can also get specific fixatives for materials such as pastels. Some brands are more environmentally friendly than others, so do your research. Remember that most fixatives are highly flammable, so you need to be careful where you use and where you store them. It's important too to note that fixative spray can change the artwork slightly. It can darken everything, knock out the light tones or the details, or even melt materials like pastels. Let's have a look at what not to do in order to understand this. Here I have compressed charcoal, willow charcoal, pastel and graphite pencil. I'm applying a thin layer from the recommended distance of 20 to 25 centimeters or 8 to 10 inches. You see how it doesn't affect the materials. Now watch what can go wrong. We'll give it the Mythbusters treatment and apply too much fixative, too close. It loses any texture, the paper gets wet and see-through, and the materials even start to melt. This is especially the case with the willow charcoal, which is starting to bleed down the page. So let's look at good technique. First, we'll start with preparation. First, plan when you will spray so you prevent overspraying. If you're using permanent fixative, make sure you've finished the work, including signing it. You need to use them in a well-ventilated area, preferably somewhere with an extraction fan. You can use it somewhere like a bathroom with the fan on, or you can take it outside. You will need a mask and eye protection. You then need to prepare your artwork by clipping it onto a flat surface like a piece of perspex or a drawing board. My tip is to put a piece of cardboard underneath your work as a test piece. It will show up any wet patches to tell you that you are too close. Use white cardboard if your paper is thin, just in case it bleeds. You want to clip 3 directions, especially if you're taking it outside. Use tape or blue tack on the 4th. Now we'll look at spraying. Check that the nozzle is turned to the on position, then shake the can well. Start by spraying to one side of the artwork on the test cardboard, holding the can on about a 45-degree angle with the nozzle tilted up. Check that it's not making anywhere wet and that you have an even spray giving an even coating. Start at the top or bottom and work across in long strokes, finishing off the page. Come back in the opposite direction, overlapping where you've been. You want to go at a reasonable pace back and forth working down the page, keeping the distance from the artwork the same and keeping your finger on the nozzle until the end. If you do need to stop spraying, stop over one side of the artwork. Never stop or start a spray in the middle of the work, as these are the times you are most likely to get an extra spurt of fixative, which might wet your paper and ruin your artwork. You can then add another coat in the opposite direction if you feel it needs it. You don't need too much. You're not spraying for cockroaches. It's best to have more light coats than one super thick coat. Ask your nan, it's all about layering. Here are just a few reminders of what we've spoken about. For more information about drawing materials, please go to the Blueberry Beetle website, where we have a complete basic drawing course which you can complete online. There are also all sorts of tips and ideas to help you on your artistic journey. Please keep an eye out for more Blueberry Beetle videos or subscribe. Thanks for watching.